Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyersportsbetting.com, on Roku, Dwyer Boxing News. Remember, the opinion you should follow should be your own. Just consider this video to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online. In my opinion, the light heavyweight division is about to experience a revolution. There was a great fight on: Sergey Kovalev versus Cornelius White. I believe Sergey Kovalev is an uncrowned champion. If you have a belt at 175 pounds and you don't have much of a punch and you like to trade like Nathan Cleverly does, let me just say, I would not hesitate to take Sergey Kovalev right now over Nathan Cleverly. In my opinion, Sergey Kovalev is an uncrowned champion. So much so that I'm hoping that Bernard Hopkins has the common sense, in his late 40s now, not to fight this guy, because I don't want to see a future Hall of Famer in the twilight of his career dealing with this kind of punching power, right? Kovalev is someone you need to watch. His power is actually a bit shocking. But in my opinion, the secret to his success, and I say this after he destroyed Cornelius White in 3 rounds, throwing a two-handed attack. He's a mid-range hooker, but one of his key punches is the kind of left hand, high up top, left hook that would give Chad Dawson all kinds of problems, right? This is a guy who hits much harder than anybody in the area code. The only guy, in my opinion, in fact, a couple of guys, who might approach Kovalev's power would be Canadians Jean Pascal and Adonis Stevenson, right? This guy hits hard. But in my opinion, the secret to his success, why you need to keep track of this guy, is his balance. It's exemplary. I criticized Adrian Broner in an earlier video. I question whether Adrian Broner has mobile power, whether Broner has the kind of power that would allow him to move with a moving target, close the distance, and actually take out the moving target. If you want to see what mobile power looks like, take a look at Sergey Kovalev. We're talking about a guy who beat former light heavyweight champion Gabriel Campillo. He was able to get around Campillo's jab. He was able to deal with Campillo's southpaw stance. And of course, he was able to track down Campillo, who was not stationary, and he was able to throw power punches with accuracy, right? This guy, quite frankly, doesn't need to set his feet that much to get off big-time power punches. Now, I believe that's a bit of a optical illusion. What's really going on, I believe, is the guy's balance is so good that it only takes the guy a moment to catch up to you and then to shift his weight so that the punch he throws has extra mustard on it. And what makes this guy particularly dangerous is the fact that he has great power in both hands. The high left hook was working a lot against Cornelius White, but understand he also has a right hand. What makes him particularly interesting as a mid-range hooker is that the guy can also straighten his right hand. So he can hit you with that right hand, right, from distance. So you're talking about Gennady Golovkin, pound for pound type power, with a guy who's mobile, doesn't need a wind-up, to get off huge punches. He's championship caliber. The only thing separating him from a belt, quite frankly, is the opportunity. Apparently he's in line now to fight Bernard Hopkins. I hope Hopkins thinks about giving up his belt and challenging Nathan Cleverly for Cleverly's portion of the title. Let me tell you, both men would be well served, because Kovalev hit so hard. He's the kind of guy who could end the career of an older fighter like Bernard Hopkins. And of course, as I said earlier, the minute I hear Kovalev is set to fight Nathan Cleverly, I'm going to have to figure out what the casinos are offering on the fight, because I'll be looking to place a bet on the challenger. Let me say too that the guy does have flaws. I don't want to overstate the guy's brilliance. We haven't seen a guy who's been able to tie up Kovalev, get him out of his tempo, come inside and literally hold him. Keep in mind, the problem with mid-range hookers is everything's coming from the outside. So a guy could, block some of the shots, come inside, and turn the fight into a wrestling match. Right? A mid-range hooker is very different than Vladimir Klitschko, where if I'm fighting Vladimir Klitschko, yes, he has a big left hook, but he also has that right hand straight down Main Street that I have to worry about. So I can't just block outside shots and think I'm covered. Right? With Kovalev, I haven't seen him throw straight lefts. He does have a straight right that's a bit straight, right? But even that straight right comes over here. I haven't seen a lot of body punches from Kovalev. So I could imagine an opponent who knows how to hide his upper body. Think Sergio Martinez in a lower weight class. A guy who can hide his upper body, right? Bend at the waist. Not give a headhunter a head to hit, right? Bend at the waist, hide his upper body, could give Kovalev problems, because the power might be power up top. He might not have figured out how to throw power body punches, right? But let me just say right now, at light heavy, in my opinion, most of the guys expose their bodies to you, right? Nathan Cleverly likes to engage in shootouts where he's there to be hit. If you're there to be hit, if you're not on your horse, and if you're silly enough to think you could trade with this guy, good luck. Let me point out, it's a rare talent. A rare talent to be able to throw this kind of power with this kind of mobility. In other words, as I said before, this guy's feet are excellent. I would make the argument that the best part of the guy's game isn't even his power. It's his feet. It's his ability to literally get leverage at the drop of a hat. Even a power puncher like Cornelius White didn't have a chance against this kind of mobile punching power. I know in the sport we glamorize people like Adrian Broner, right? And I don't mean to pick on Broner too much, but understand, Broner's power, in my opinion, is stationary, right? This is a different kind of power. This is almost like Marvin Hagler type power, where the guy can track you down. You're over here, the guy's over here, and he's still powerful. Now Hagler, how do I put this? This guy has more two-handed power than even a guy like Marvin Hagler, right? Because Hagler was pretending to be a southpaw, right? He was inverted. But if you figured out the angles, you understood that his power hand was really his right hand, right? So if you were Ray Leonard, you could literally, against Hagler in a southpaw stance, allow Hagler to hit you with his left hand, which was really his non-dominant hand. This guy has power in both hands. He's a straight up puncher. He's like Gennady Golovkin, right? Only this guy, in my opinion, fights at a faster pace than Gennady Golovkin. To sum up, today's June the 15th, 2013. I fully expect that by this time next year, Kovalev will have one of the belts at 175 pounds. If he doesn't have the belt, I'm expecting him to be scheduled to fight one of the champs at 175 pounds. I'll be surprised if a wily old fox like Bernard Hopkins, who was to fight Karl Marat and that fight fell apart, I'll be surprised if Hopkins ever hops in the ring with this guy. I think Hopkins is too smart to make that mistake. Let me hear from you. Leave your comments for me here online. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com. Thanks for watching.